I'm Michael O'Hare, ex-CEO, philanthropist, all-round life coach, and the author and founder of the worldwide acclaimed Best in Business seminar series. Welcome to my live Q&A session. I'm a 12th Dan in debt refinancing. Welcome to Enter the Dojo of Business. Hiya! Every week, I'll be taking your live business questions and answering them to the best of my ability. Indeed, the best in business of my ability. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to receive updates on the latest videos and check my archives for more training material, and click the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload new videos. Indeed, you may wish to bring your friends, family, and some poor performing co-workers along, and maybe bring it along as part of their mandatory compliance training, something we'll be talking about this evening. Anyway, as I open this evening, I just had a few questions over the last few weeks about my headpiece that I've been wearing. It's a Sennheiser Pro X500 V2.8 for corporate executive use. It has a long 2-meter cable for which I have done a full risk assessment completion on. It's interchangeable ear usage. In effect, it is ear agnostic. It can be used for a single left ear or a single right ear, or vice versa. And in fact, I've come to know that it was invented by a single-eared customer service representative, the Van Gogh of customer service call center executives. So that's why I've got it. It's very good. And in fact, actually, I have a small video coming out this week where Sennheiser asked me to do a voiceover for the Pro X500. So watch out for that. Anyway, good evening. Our first question is an email. Dear Dr. O'Hare, finally, an absolute pleasure to be dialing into your weekly show. Extremely insightful and very reassuring. I'm a managing director at one of the Wall Street firms. Lovely. I love my job and making money. Well, who doesn't? However, I'm finding the completion of mandatory compliance training an absolute burden. I know the regulators say I have to do it, but do I really have to? Yours truly, Woodrow Parker Esquire. Now that is a lovely private school pedigree name, and I would advise anyone who's got a very common name to change theirs to something a little bit more sophisticated, perhaps add a junior at the end, or indeed a cardinal number. But anyway, coming back to the question in hand, mandatory compliance training, if you're not aware, is what every corporate organization gets their employees to do. It's compulsory training that everyone has to do on an annual basis. It covers things like fire drill evacuation. For example, in my case, I use the executive elevator and congregate at the senior management muster point. It also talks about things like safely managing data, the rules around cybersecurity, and of course, what constitutes gross misconduct in the workplace, and perhaps more importantly, what doesn't constitute gross misconduct. Anyway, the point is, Woodrow, you shouldn't be doing it. You're a managing director. You're the money generator. So these types of tasks are reserved for very lowest skilled workers. For example, your junior analyst, your team secretary, or, dare I say it, a blue-collar worker, maybe some of your cleaning staff. See it for them as a development opportunity. It's an opportunity for somebody to get their skill set up. And if they're successful, they might be able to become your compliance right-hand man or woman. And indeed, I have recently been getting, over the last few years, a colleague of mine called Ernesto Cavalier to do my mandatory money laundering training. In many ways now, he has become an expert in the ways and methods for which you can recycle very large amounts of cash. He knows how it works, he knows what law enforcement officials are looking for, and he knows the loopholes, which last week was very helpful when I received a sizable amount of cash from a transaction I did for a Russian prosthetic limb manufacturer. So I hope that answers your question, Woodrow. We're getting some questions in this evening. As always, please get others to come and join us. This session relies on your questions. Another question. A text message in from NM. I think this is our rapper that joined us last week. Deaf Michael. I'm assuming that's a gross typo on your part rather than an accusation. The first wave of panic buying recently was toilet rolls and flour. The second wave was hair dye and hair clippers. What do you think the next in-demand products will be? Great question. 3 answers. Number 1, high-end glossy magazines. Pound for Pound, which is a featherweight gazette, featherweight boxing gazette. Cheese Express, Minty Magic, Snuff Shoes, and Ladies of Lagos. Number 2, Vaseline. People will be stockpiling on Vaseline. People like myself have been sat in leather chairs like this for 15 hours straight. I'll be honest, it's sweaty, there's a lot of chafage, and in some cases, bed sores or hemorrhoids can result. So Vaseline. And finally, quite simply, short-dated Taiwanese US dollar knockout derivative swaps. So hope that helps NM. A question on the text box. Have you ever passed up on a business opportunity that you later regretted? Yes, it was a Sudanese lingerie maker. In fact, they were making tights for men. Because apparently in the south of Sudan, it can get very cold at night. And of course, these tights would also double as things you could wear over your head to rub small kiosk banks with, because they don't have sizable banks in Sudan, small kiosks. So yes, I did get involved with that. Unfortunately, after trying out one of the tights and getting my foot stuck, I had to file a lawsuit, and of course the deal did not go through. So yes, I regret that one. I actually regret putting my foot through the tight. Okay, our next question. A LinkedIn message from a G. Dillon. Michael, you've talked a few times about video conferencing. Our company is determining right now which platform is best to use. Zoom, WebEx, Skype, or Microsoft Teams. What is your preferred method for having a mass debate? Well, G. Dillon, I would say whatever works for you. The key thing is it has to be reliable. You cannot have something which has a poor connection, because basically you'll end up like, and nobody can understand a word that you're saying. My preferred method is the Snapchat, and that, of course, is very good for sending very quick, succinct communication. Why send a detritus of an email when one simple image will do the job for you? There's also a story functionality on there, which allows my staff to upload images throughout the day, letting me know what work they've been up to. It also means I can pry in on their personal lives. Sometimes they forget to turn it off. And I get to see what kind of activities they've been up to, and whether or not it will affect the reputation of best in business. Of course, my loyal executive assistant, Singaporean John, he's been using it while he's been with his boyfriend in Thailand. I don't think he's been signing up to the social distancing etiquette, however. So I use Snapchat. You choose whatever works for you, G. Dillon. Okay, our next question is an Instagram question from a Men Aha. Hi, Michael. What is the best advice you could give to somebody preparing for a telephone interview during lockdown? Well, in short, prepare as though you were preparing for a standard face-to-face interview, right? You dress up well. You buy yourself a suit, some shoes, no white socks, and make sure, of course, you're not wearing flip-flops or a sweaty gym slip. The interviewers will know it immediately. They will smell it through the ether. The other thing you might want to do is knock on the door and wait for it to be called in. Do not enter the room until you are summoned. Request perhaps a photograph of the interviewer and pin it to a life-size cardboard cutout, just to give yourself a bit of familiarity. Of course, never forget to give a firm, of course, pretend handshake, and keep eye contact while doing so. Sit properly. Don't slouch. You may wish to buy a chair that is slightly uncomfortable or liable to fall over, just to keep your back straight. Also, you may want to keep small talk going. Things like, it didn't take me long to find the building, or the traffic is heavy today, or thank goodness I bought that anorak to help with the rain that's forecast. And at the end, of course, give another firm handshake, or indeed, if you're from the oriental part of the world, a small bow. And then, of course, when it finishes, there is etiquette about hanging up. One thing I would suggest doing is perhaps getting into the role of saying, you hang up first. They will almost certainly say, no, you hang up. You respond immediately with, no, you hang up. And it should keep going like this until you agree to hang up after the count of 3. But of course, you don't hang up after 3. So hopefully that helps your question, men aha. A question in from an Andrew. Hi, adding Coke to Dettol will make it taste better. Well, I agree with a lot of things that Mr. Trump says. But please, 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 do not drink bleach. Okay, next question. There's a LinkedIn message from Broderick Tully. Again, that's a fantastic old school investment banking name there. Again, I cannot emphasize enough. It's the de facto way of getting promoted in the Western world. He says, Michael, I'm desperate for your help at this very difficult time. I don't know how we're going to be able to get back to the way things were prior to the current crisis. Oil dropped below $20 a barrel this week and has significantly impacted my investment portfolio. What can I do? Please, please, please advise. Well, this is truly pitiful, Broderick. I'll be honest with you. You've set the bar high, but you really need to take a good, long, hard look at yourself and get yourself more socially aware. Yes, it is shocking that oil has dipped below $20 this week, but have a bit of sensitivity, man. Come on. There are people in a far, far worse predicament than you right now. I know people, and I'll be honest about this, I know people who've seen a 45% drop in their equity derivatives portfolio. Now, these said people are now going to have to refinance their second home, rent out their family yacht, and have to downgrade from first class to business class for all travel. Now, just think, Broderick, think about that for a moment. Perhaps get yourself on some social awareness course. Right, another question. It's a tweet that has come in. I think we've got time for maybe one more. A tweet received from @DebbieMcGee's Undies. Hi, Michael. I work for Virgin Atlantic. Sir Richie has said that all his employees are their number one assets to any company. Okay, sorry. Sir Richie has always said that employees are the number one assets to any company. Is that true? Well, I have to say, I'll give a little picture now. Sir Richard actually gave me a very sensitive candlelit foot massage at his London apartment back in 1993. We'd been for a very long run together, and I had a corns on my foot, and I needed massaging. And needless to say, he has very soft and gentle hands for a CEO. But coming back to your question, yes, it is very true. Employees are the number one asset to any company. After revenue growth, increased profitability, budgetary savings, infrastructure upgrades, risk management capability, balance sheet optimization, improving shareholder value, safety on the premises, dividend payouts, enhanced trading commission, and continual debt restructuring. Hope that helps. Okay, we have another question that has come in. An email from... Yes. No, I think we're out. So, are there any questions that you may have on the live chat? What I did want to say is thank you very much to everyone for joining us every Sunday evening, and bring others along. Why? Because they could benefit from it. This is the time when people are needing help, needing career enhancement. They're worrying, what will happen to my job when I get back? Well, if you join the Best in Business live Q&A session, you'll find that you can get little tips and hints along the way to give you that promotion that you've always wanted. So I think that brings us to the very end of our session this evening. Again, I'd like to thank you. This is every Sunday at this time. Keep sending your questions in, and I'll get to answering them. And finally, if you think, as I said, others could benefit, bring them along. And as I said before, please, please don't drink anything that resides under your kitchen sink. Thanks very much for watching, my Best in Business followers, and I look forward to seeing you same time next week. Goodbye.